How's it going, YouTube? Welcome back to another YCS weekend recap. I've been sick all weekend, and this is why I'm going to keep my voice down a little bit for this video. But we've had an incredible weekend of Yu-Gi-Oh! With Dinka Boy winning the 2,500 person YCS Birmingham with Fire Kings. Nothing short of cinema, absolute cinema. He's the GOAT for a reason. And it's been an incredible weekend of not only gameplay, a lot of interesting new decks, a lot of interesting strategies from Supreme Darkness, and now this was the time for the European folks to show themselves after YCS Orlando, which was actually the first one in this format. Before we dive into the metagame and the matches, Konami did a pretty interesting thing. Every round, they revealed a new card from the new upcoming set Quarter Century Stampede. Now, it seems like this is going to be like another rarity collection type of set, and that they are going to also release a lot of cards in the new unreleased Quarter Century art collection from the OCG. So, Fallen of Albaz, plus Ecclesia, Cartesia, Aluber from the white collection, the Fallen of Albaz binder, are going to be on this. And also, they will include cards like Axis Go Talker, Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon, and the Sky Striker alt arts in this set as well. So this set is probably going to be super hype, and it's going to be really awesome because we're getting the Albaz alt arts so quickly. And also Maxi. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Also, that's going to be a new playmat. So shout out to Yu-Gi-Oh! News over on Twitter for covering that. Let's dive into the breakdown a little bit and see, thanks to YGO Pro Deck, the meta has kind of shifted. If we're looking at last week, Orlando, it was probably about 80% of the decks are Malice, or I think it was like 83%. Malice or Ryziel at the end of top 64. Look at this, less than 50% representation, right? Now, hopefully this is combined. It's not really combined, seems like, because we have Mitsurugi here at 5, which is also going to take up Ryziel, so it's essentially 50%, right? Essentially just 50% Malice and Ryziel, which is pretty like a huge improvement. And we have other decks as well. Fire King is here. Mermail, we're going to talk about that. Mermail was pretty prevalent this weekend. White Forest, Memento, actually in huge numbers. Branded Espia, Tenpai Dragon, Bestial, Crystron. It was a very interesting and pretty diverse YCS as well. So let's dive into, look at some matches. We have the Crystron strategy, which has gotten support, and this was one of the only feature matches it was featured on, but this is not the player who topped. However, Crystron gets its first YCS top in a very budget list as far as I'm concerned, right? Normal Charmies, nothing like that. We're obviously going to talk about the winner, who basically put together 3 structure decks and some staples. The deck is not cheap, but yeah. Metaltronus continues to be an incredible staple, and of course the Mulcharmies pretty much carrying out the whole tournament. The most prevalent staples, even in the winner's deck, are going to be Dominus Impulse, which is absurd, Metaltronus, and Mulcharmies. Basically, these are the cards that you're looking for. Malice almost taking down the deck's first YCS title, but just missing out in the finals. Yeah, unfortunate. Now, this was round 4, right? Round 4 comes up. Dinka Boy is 3-0, right? 3-0 undefeated with Fire King, right? And we see that even through hand traps, even through interruptions, the board is pretty much like, you know, vanilla Fire King. He's not even reaching into the extra deck. Not even sure if we saw that in round 4, but we also saw him running Pot of Extravagance, which is a pretty smart call considering that you don't really care about your extra deck. But this was Dinka taking down Malice on the 4th round. And nobody really thought, okay, you know, it's Dinka Boy. He's going to do what he does. he's gonna meme, right? I even saw on Twitter messages with between him and Nightfall saying, yeah, I'm gonna troll X3 with Fire Kings, go to side events. He ended up winning the whole thing. Now, was this the right meta call? Maybe, right? In a meta where you're mainly focused on Detonator, right? There's like two sides of the meta. One is basically just Detonator, which pops. The more you pop the Fire King cards, the more they trigger, right? So it kind of sucks destroying them, to be honest. Now on the other side, you have Malice, which play a ton of Bestials, which are just dead cards against that deck, right? It's all fires. So probably this was the thought process going on in Dinkaboy's head. We also saw Memento and Mermail, two decks that were honestly pretty prevalent on stream and eventually did top pretty well. I think Memento was the third most topping deck after, like, if you combine Ryziel and Mitsurugi, there were 5 Mementos, right? And the deck is pretty annoying, to be honest. Like, super long combos, loses to Dweller and Shifter, obviously, and ends up going from 20 monsters into SP and the combined creation. But it is pretty hard to break, right? Fiendsmith setup with the monster negates, with the special summon negates, with the DDD, SP, combined creation. Not even playing the trap, by the way. Not even playing the negate trap. Just control. So Memento is going to be something to look out for. And it has been showing pretty well. And yeah, Branded also topping. This is also not the player who topped at the end. Unfortunately, this was not that player. But Branded did manage to top. And this was a nice display of, you know, some interesting, like, nothing super new here. We saw Nadir Servant, we saw Maximus, we saw droplets being used. We did see Despian Praskinian. For those who are following the channel and know I like that card. And we saw Molcharmies in the main, by the way. But besides that, nothing super techy. Just a good pilot, taking the deck, having a good day, managing to top with Branded in this format. This player was not even playing Albion the Sanctified Dragon because there's really no huge need for that, right? But at the end, Masquerade pulling some weight, carrying in time, of course. So shout out to Branded duelists making it happen. As I said before, Mermails. You should be scared of Mermail. Yeah, that deck is scary. Made it all the way to top 4. We're going to talk about that in a second. The deck is super resilient. The deck is scary. Even though it plays like a ton of bricks, it can play through hand traps. Not a lot of hand traps actually do anything to it because everything is sent through cost. So everything essentially has like a double effect. And this is a deck to look out for. I talked about it in my tier list that I made before the YCS. And now it's pretty much realizing itself as, you know, probably 3rd, 4th best deck of the format. Now, before we go to top 4 in the finals, we did see a pretty cool Diabellstar lore deck here. White Forest, Diabellstar, Azamina. Nothing much to say, to be honest. This was pretty cool. This was a pretty nice showing of a very skilled duelist who knows what they're doing. Very interesting lines, and also very shiny deck. Taking down a previous YCS champion, the YCS champion of Lille, who won it with Ubel, I believe, Noel. So shout out to Dominic with the White Forest Azamina cards. And then, from then on, top 8, top 4, and finals, it was the Dinkabui show. This was an incredible match between Fire Kings and Atlantia. This was the lore battle. This was fire versus water. You know Konami couldn't miss out on putting this on feature, and this was incredible, to be honest. This was a pretty, you know, grindy game all the way until the end. Nils, shout out to him. Like, look at this board state. We are 4 minutes from time. Dinkabui basically has no cards, and we got an Omni Negate on on Niels' side. Full control of the board, right? No battle phase here. Bounces back the Grunix. But then, just a few moments later, we have the actual, like, this is Poseidra, and we actually have yeah, this is lore. This is lore. It's crazy, right? Now, you can see here that Niels, 2 minutes to time, he is leading in life points, right? How does Dinka win this? I don't even know. But it was insane. And yeah, this was the finals. We got an illegal double Chaos Hunter and Lancia pulling some weight. Tony, unfortunately, ending on a firewall. I didn't really like that, especially after the Dominus Impulse. I'm not sure if this was a mistake or just a misplay or whatever. He could not activate the Firewall Dragon, and he gets hit with 2 Chaos Hunters eventually that just seal the deal. He's way down on life points, so all Dinka really has to do is just like inflict some damage. And yeah, eventually he goes on to take it. Incredible YCS, incredible showing. Really excited for the new cards as well, the alt arts. Let me know what you guys think about this YCS. I believe this was one of the great ones ever. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.